Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing on this Thirsty Thursday? Well, I miss Thirsty Thursdays, that's for sure, man. When I was younger, I had a good friend of mine who was a DJ at one of the clubs down in Baltimore City. And man, oh man, there were some good stories in that DJ booth. My goodness. Hello, welcome all my fine aviation enthusiast friends. Welcome to the newest episode of the Airplane Show. You can call this episode whatever you like, but I certainly welcome. Please subscribe. Please click the thumbs up before you navigate to another video on this here YouTube where you do something else. Let me make sure that we can hear myself, and then I just finished responding to. I think he's a subscriber. But anyways, let me see if I can hear myself. Oh yeah, I can hear myself good. I can hear my own voice. Yeah, so I just finished replying to somebody. I don't know if he's a subscriber or not. Doesn't matter if he is. Well, I mean, I would like him to be a subscriber, but I try to respond to everybody as soon as I see the message pop up on my phone. He was curious what websites I use and mainly the website I use for navigation and all that. So let me bring up both websites that I use. So now Navigraph, you do have to pay a subscription. I think it's like $15 a month, I think, is what I pay. But the website Navigraph has a lot of features. One of those features is this charts feature that you can see here. And with this is generally, so if I do a flight where it's based on a real flight, I go to, let me pull it up here. So I go to FlightAware. Hopefully my computer will continue to do a good job tonight. It's not being a grumpy old man tonight. It seems like it's going to websites somewhat quickly. So I'll usually come here and I'll, search for a plane, that I want to fly, and then, I'll usually copy whatever the route is that's in the particular plane. So like, let's say I'm going to fly the A310, okay? The A321 is really the closest in size to that plane. So I'll go to the A321 section and I'll find a flight that looks interesting to me or that's like 2 hours or less. So let's take like this Frontier flight, for example, okay? I'll show you two different ways. So as soon as I'm able to click on Frontier, I will. Anyways, okay, here we go. Okay, so with this particular flight, all the waypoints will be in the description down here on the bottom. Boy, my computer does not like FlightAware tonight. Start a GoFundMe so I can get a new computer. Like, I don't really have anything downloaded on this computer either. It's just an old laptop. Just certain times of the day, it just does not want to be bothered. That's why I call it a grumpy old man, because grumpy old men sometimes they just don't want to be bothered either. All right, so hopefully I can. Jesus. Oh, I want to wait. So make the page responsive. There we go. So when you scroll down here, generally it has the main waypoints. And that's, I usually try to copy this as best I can when I'm doing a flight like this. If you click on this decode button here, this gives you pretty much all the waypoints, right? It gives you all the waypoints that are on the air route that it's flying, on the highway in the sky that it's flying. Now, if you were to go to a flight that is pretty much outside of America, and for some reason Australia is grouped in with this too. So where it shows the waypoints. But let's say you were doing like this one here, right? As soon as I click on it, I will. Well, anyways, if you click on this one, there's not going to be any waypoints, okay? So let me just move forward because this page is making me mad. All right, so anyway, so I use Navigraph to do all the charts, you know, waypoints, the air routes, right? You know, they have all the departures here. You know, when I say I'm getting like the barometric pressure information, you know, I click on if most of the airports you'll be able to get that info, you just click on the wind here, and on the bottom here it brings up the METAR for that area, and if you leave it up, it'll update automatically. But on the very bottom it has the altimeter. And then this particular plane tonight, like the CJ4, we're going to need some of the runway information. If we click on these little dots next to the runway, we can go to information, and that will bring up, you know, the slope, the bearing. It'll bring up the height of the runway, the elevation, the dimensions. So like when I'm flying the 737 and I plug in the elevation and the length of the runway for the heads-up display, this is where I get that info from. So if I'm making the route up on my own like I did tonight, I'll come into here and I'll generally plug in, you know, both airports, and I'll look at calculating the route myself. Like I'll just come in and start looking at what looks interesting to me. You know, if there's something here that, you know, I want to fly. After I'm done doing that, I'll go into SimBrief. And I'll see what SimBrief calculates. And if SimBrief has a better route or one that I like better, I'll just use that one. If I like the one that I did, then I'll use the one that I did better. By the way, this does say outdated. When I built this route tonight, I'm using the AirX cycle from before the new year. I've noticed a couple of flights recently that I've done where the ILS frequency and some of the info has not been correct in the simulator, and I think that's because it's still running on this AirX cycle. There's a new AirX cycle that just came out, and you know, I don't think Microsoft has updated to it yet. Mainly, I'm thinking about that because of the A310. When the A310, you know, when I tried to do that plane towards the end of last year, I couldn't fly it. And that was because it needed to be in this old cycle. So it needed to be, anyways, it needed to be within a certain date. I don't know if all the airplanes have been updated yet, but I'm going to try using the outdated version tonight with this plane. So anyway, so I usually come to dispatch. I'll do dispatch system. And then I usually do, there's a new flight option that I'll choose. Right, like I'll go to create new flight. You know, I'll plug in the one runway here, one runway here, the flight, you know, and any information that I may put in for the airline. Like if it's Yo Mama, I'll do Yo here, Mama here, or if it's like Southwest, this would be SWA, then the flight number. I generally come down to here and I plug in whatever the departure time is for the flight that I'm doing. This is only based on UTC time, so you do have to figure out what the difference is between the time zone of your airport that you're flying from and UTC, and make sure you plug in that UTC time here. Come down here, we choose the aircraft, right? And then this will pretty much calculate on its own. So let me go to a flight, the flight that we're doing tonight. Let me pull that up. Let's go home and let's go to view saved flights. All right, so let me edit this flight. So once the route is built, right? Come on. I'm almost done messing with the computer, I promise. Once the route is built, I come down here to analyze the route, and as long as this is in green, we're all good. There's other route options you can choose. You can change the runways. You can, change the flight rules, the units, whether it's kilograms, pounds. I mean, you can kind of customize a lot of this to what you want. Once this is all done, I'll click Generate Flight. And from here, I can pull this into SimBrief. So, I'm sorry, I can pull it into Navigraph. Let me show you that. So, one last thing with this page, if you go down here to the briefing preview, this has the official flight plan, the flight plan that I usually refer to when I say I'm checking the flight plan. This has all the info that you'll need for the flight. The forecast for departure, the forecast for arrival, the weight information, the fuel information, the cost index, the wind speeds. So this does pull into Navigraph though. So usually when I get to this part, I'll close out SimBrief. I'll go back to Navigraph. And I haven't imported the flight yet for tonight. So what I'll do is I go to Import Flight, Import from SimBrief. And this is the flight that we're doing tonight. And there we go. So now when I go into Navigraph now on any device, it'll be here, whether I use it on my iPad, tablet, whatever the case is. So tonight we're not doing any kind of departure. There's no departure that I like with this particular flight. So we're not using any of these departures. There is a departure from a different runway that I did kind of like, but that runway has a really strong tailwind. So I don't know if that is a good thing, because we're going to fly with live weather tonight. So I don't want to do that. So we're going to just take off tonight and head towards this waypoint and then pick up the highway in the sky. So once this gets pulled in, we still have to do our approach. So if you click on select, now we're going to be doing this RNAV 11 approach tonight. But I'm also going to pin, when I pull it up on my tablet, I'm going to pin the ILS approach as well, because once we pick this up, we may do an ILS approach. But yeah, that's pretty much it. With this Navigraph Charts is a great tool to use. Our flight plan pulls in as well. So here's the flight plan from SimBrief. So you don't have to have two websites or two different apps open. You got that here. You can change, from day to night. They have your route you can show. This pin board is the bottom area down here where it has like the, quick access to the, to our chart for landing tonight. There's also a weather feature now that's available with Navigraph, where you can have METAR information, you can have radar, turbulence, icing, cloud cover. I mean, there's so many tools that you can, jet stream. I mean, it's crazy the amount of info that Navigraph now gives you available. This weather is new. It's only been out for, I think, like 2 or 3 months. Telemetry, I'm never going to be able to use with Xbox. I wish, but there's no way to download the software for it. So telemetry, while you're flying the simulator, like if you're on PC, you can actually use, you can download the software, connect the flight to Navigraph here, and whatever your plane is flying in the simulator will show up here. Indicated airspeed, altitude, vertical speed, heading, magnetic heading, rate of turn. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, we'll never be able to use that because I can't download you can get the link for it is on Navigraph's website, but I can't use it with Xbox. I've already tried. So that's pretty much, you know, the three websites that I'll go to. There is you know what? There is another website you can use as well if you're flying in America. Let me show you. So there's a website called SkyVector, which is a free website. SkyVector is a really good website as well. SkyVector, you can click on flight plan and do your own flight plan if you want. You can click on airport. Let's just pull up, like, you know, any airport. Let's pull up Atlanta. Right. And it'll give you all the info for the airport, different charts. And then it also has, you can see all the info that it has, but on towards the bottom, it has every chart available for this airport. So I've never been able to get SkyVector to pull up anything other than what's available in the United States. I've never been able to use it for Europe well, really, I guess I don't need to go into all the list of countries, but the continuous 48 states, you know, from coast to coast, that landmass from California to the East Coast, that it should have pretty much every airport available. Anything outside of the U.S., it's not gonna have, at least to my knowledge, it's not available. So, anyways, hopefully that's helpful. I know you guys have seen me use those websites in the past, but you know, I've never actually, you know, kind of gone in depth with that. So, all right, let's get our CJ4 rocking and rolling. Let me get my mouse on. We'll do some South Africa action tonight. Let me make sure. I think I have traffic. All right. I think I left the ATC off. Let me see. Because I'm going to leave them off again tonight. They were really annoying yesterday. AI, radio, yep, that's off. And ATC is off here. Okay, good, it's all off. Yeah, that was real annoying last night. I'm not worried about the ATC tonight. So, all right, let's change our airplane to the CJ4. You know, one of the guys that was watching last night, I think he's from Greece, he was mentioning about the Stratoliner. Well, I don't have a Stratoliner anywhere. So if you wind up watching this again, I don't know your name. I apologize. I don't know if I've ever asked it, but you can certainly put your name in the comments if you like. If you happen to check out this episode, let me know where you've seen the Stratoliner, because I don't have it in any of the airplanes here, and I've never seen it in the marketplace either. So if you know of where it is, certainly let me know, and I'll be more than happy to look into flying it, that's for sure. All right, so the CJ4 is right here. Oh yeah, that's right, I have all kinds of liveries with this now. Oh, I hope this doesn't fuck the airplane up. That's right. I forgot why I downloaded the liveries for this airplane. Wow, look at all these liveries, Jesus Christ. I still like this one. Like, I still like this one, the colorful one. Wow, I didn't know it. I wish there was a South American one. Air France, Azul, Delta, Emirates. What does Emirates look like? Wow, that's pretty cool looking. All right, let's see what variation. That's interesting. Let's check some of these out. I've never looked at I completely forgot that I had these. Well, we're going to find out pretty soon if this messes up the airplane or not. A lot of times these third-party liveries really jack up the airplane, and I wind up having to delete the delivery pack after I bought it. Eastern Airways, look at that. All right. 9, 10. Prince Aviation. All right, so number 10 is pretty cool looking. Oh, you know what? I did fly with one of these. That's right. Last time I flew this one, the Chrono Aviation one. That's right. Okay, now I remember. It's all coming back to me now. Look how shiny this one is. That's pretty cool looking. Number 14. I kind of like that one. Soccer ball on the side of it, sort of. TCS ambulance. Well, we could pretend we're an ambulance tonight. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll fly that ambulance one. Where's that at? We'll pretend we're we're taking somebody's heart from Cape Town over to East London. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, my tablet thought I activated the Google feature. All right, so yeah, let's fly the ambulance. And I got to bring up everything on my tablet. My daughter was using the iPad for all kinds of drawing and everything, so that's charging. So we're going to be using the iPad ski tonight. All right, let's go to Cape Town. And put in... Okay, Yo Mama is okay. We can use that tonight. How much fuel is on this here airplane tonight? 1705. So let's change that and... We'll do 70%. And what's our takeoff weight tonight? It is 7,045 kilograms. So right about there. And our center of gravity, we need to change that a little bit. Let's make it 30. We'll make it 36. That's an easy number to remember, I think. All right, very good. So that's all done. I think that'll be enough fuel for getting everything started up. Actually, let me put a little more fuel in, because we might be plugging in for a few minutes. So let's plug in. We'll do 75%. We'll drop this down a little bit. Yeah, that makes me feel a little better, because I don't like to really, use the battery to to program everything and turn to avionics on. I like to have the engines running for that. All right, let's make this, since we're using last year's AIRAC, let's make this, we'll just do my dad's birthday, December 15th. And, oh yeah, let's plug in our airport first. Okay, so it's FACT. Oops. All right, Cape Town. Let's see here. Oh no, what happened? Shit. Son of a bitch. All right, what's B9? Medium or small? What's small looking like? Medium. Oh wow, all the way over there? Nah, I don't want it to go all the way over there. Yeah, we'll just stick over here. We'll do B8. Number 8 for Cal Ripken Jr. All right, now that we got that set, now let's set our time. Let's do like 8 in the morning. let's do like, we'll do a little bit later in the morning. Let's do like 11:20. All right, December 15th, so our air rack should match. We got that. All right, let's click fly. Yes, sir. Sure. Training tomorrow for a new job. I'm excited for that. Hopefully this new job will be good. I send all my old equipment back to my old job tomorrow. Kind of miss my old job a little bit, but it is what it is. All right. So let's click ready. Let's check out our livery. Oh yeah, look at that. Very cool. And I think that's our runway right there in front of us. Open up the airport chart because this is a pretty big airport. Yeah, that's runway 1 right in front of us. Very good. But we are going to have to get back up. We are going to have to get back somebody to push us back, though, I think. It means I am going to have to get the ATC involved. Fuck. I don't want to get the ATC involved. I really don't. Shit. All right, well, let me turn them on, I guess. Damn. Damn. Well, if they get annoying, then we'll just turn them off again. All right, we turn this one on here because that allows GigaChad Copilot to answer for us. And we use this one here so we can hear. And we use this one here so we can get them to try to enforce our flight plan. Yeah, man, it's pretty cool. I don't like how this looks, though. I mean, I understand the info needs to be on there, but like, I think that could be a little cleaner looking. Maybe a different font, or I don't know. Other than that, it looks all right to me. All right, let's get rid of the yoke. Get our checklist up. All right, so parking brake is set right here. Power levers are at idle. All right, generator switches should be on already. Switches. Generator switches. I should know where this is. I've flown this plane so many times. Engine start. Why am I having a hard time? Oh, duh. Yeah, generator switches are on. All right, battery on. Oop, that's not the battery. Battery on and avionics on dispatch. That's okay. All right, let's arm the emergency lights. Let's put on our inner nav lights. And let's go ahead and let's open this up here. Let's click the run button. And click the starter button. Did that a little backwards, but it's okay. I'll do it the correct way this time. All right, let's initialize our position while that's starting up. Let's go to index. Let's go to position. To look at the flight plan just so I can look at our coordinates. South 3358. Okay, so this is the one here. There we go. All right, we're now lined up. Let's start the left engine. So let's open this up and let's click this left button. Once N2 gets to about 20%, we can push the run start stop button. All right, let's push the run button. Close that up, and let's close this up. I think there's a way to import the flight plan. Let me look. I could have sworn there was. A data link. Maybe not. I could have sworn there was. Yeah, all right. I'm not worried about it. I could be wrong. I mean, I fly a lot of planes, so sometimes they all kind of get jumbled up. All right, so we have FACT, FAEL. There's only a few things we need to enter anyways for our flight plan tonight. All right, now that the engines are on, though, let's go ahead and turn on our avionics. That's really it for the checklist. All right, let's click execute. Our flight number is Yobama YO. All right, and let's go ahead to departure. We're doing departure 1. Go back to flight plan. Let's put in our first waypoint here, which is ESRUK. Execute. Let's go to the next page. We have Q31. Flying that to ESPOG. And from there, picking up our arrival, or actually our approach, not our arrival, our approach. So let's plug that in. Do an RNAV 11. And this one here, IBMON, is our transition. Very good. All right. Let me contact the ATC and make sure they're good with this runway, or if I need to, have a little talk with them. The only reason I have the ATC on right now is so they can push us back. Okay, so let's close them out for now. Let's finish setting up our flight plan. Let's go to legs and make sure there's no discontinuities or vectors we need to get rid of. Yep, see, there's one here. So what we need to do with this particular plane is click on this clear delete button and then delete this. Click execute. So now our flight plan is completely connected. Go to index. All right, that's good. let's go to performance. And this should be okay. So our cruise altitude tonight is, I think, 35,000 feet. 35,000, and then we got to get down to 23,000 by. No, maybe it's 23,000. Yeah, our flight is only 23,000 feet tonight. I think the airway that we're on tonight, I think the max elevation is like 23 or 24,000 feet. So, all right, so we'll plug in 23,000 feet. Look at that on the flight plan. Double check 35. No, it has 35,000 and 23,000 by the time we get to. Oh yeah, all right. So 23,000 is it? Okay. All right. Cargo is, according to the flight plan, our cargo is 75. Let's go to takeoff. So let's put in our runway slope, which here in the beginning, you saw where I got that from on Navigraph. So our slope here is 0.03. And the runway wind tonight is 320 and 12 knots. So let's plug that in. 20 and 12. Outside temperature right now is 17 degrees. And our QNH right now, according to Navigraph, is 1010. Let's plug that in. Let's execute that. Next page. Turn that on. Flaps 15. Very good. Let's send that to the FMC. I'm sorry, send it to our displays. So now our V speeds will be on the primary flight display. All right, very good. And all right, so we're good there. Let's go back to performance. VNAV setup. Our transition level, I believe, is not going to be 18,000 feet. Let's see what it says here. It's 7,000 feet. So let's plug in FL070. Execute. And let's go to our next page. That's 23,000. And 7,000 again. All right, very good. And I believe that's about it. We can plug in the performance info when we get closer. I do want to make sure. Hang on, my daughter texts me. Hey, give me 1 second, guys. I got a little bit of a situation upstairs. Okay, sorry about that. My my son's very loud upstairs. My daughter's not feeling well and she's trying to sleep, and he was keeping her up. So anyways, the approach info we can plug in when we get closer to where we're going. So I do want to show you a couple of things though with this airplane, because this airplane is fairly unique with a couple of things. So let's stay with this FMC down here while we're down here. All right, so we have these buttons here, right? MFD data, MFD, I guess that's advanced, and then display menu, right? So display menu, we have left display, and then you have the right display over here, okay? So you can kind of control what shows up on this FMC here by clicking on these buttons, right? Low nav aids, high nav aids, speed, altitude, right? You can kind of control what shows on there, right? VNav off on the window, right? I like to have the VNav, on there, right? You can change the display from MFD to primary display, right? You can choose left or right, to control this side or that side, okay? So we have that page, and then there's a page 2 on here as well. You can set up a ring for altitude selection if you want to plug in at altitude, for like missed approaches. And I mean, there's a lot of things you can do with this. So that's this display here. If we go to this button here, the advanced, you can go right to the next waypoint if you want to, previous waypoint. You can plug in the waypoint that you want to go to and then click this button. And then MFD data is something that's pretty interesting. So here's all our takeoff information. Page 2 would be our approach information. We don't have any approach information right now, which is why there's nothing showing up for page 2. Oh, there we go, previous page. So here's what we have so far for our approach. So we don't really have anything plugged in yet other than the runway and the basic information. But yeah, I thought this is pretty interesting that, all this kind of info shows up. So, we're going to keep this display like this on this side, but on this side, we're going to plug in all our takeoff information. And while we're flying, since we have this running here, this will continue to, show us what's next and how many miles and how long it's going to take and all that. Anyways, so that's that. Now, this one here, you can interact with some of these buttons. So we have upper menu and lower menu. So the upper menu, FMS text is this info here. If you want to change that, you click on this and you can, drag it to be off, or systems if you want systems. So we're going to leave it on FMS text, okay? You can click escape when you're done. The lower menu, you can change it, flight plan, traffic system, compass rose, arc. I kind of like this one myself. And then if you want to get to the bottom section, use the big ring. And then what you have to do is, here I like using the actual controller because it's easier. You can just click on this, and you can interact with like overlays. You can click on this, and then it brings you to another whole section. So I've already set these up for how I like it, so I don't really need to do a whole lot with these, but it's the same functionality with this screen as well. So you have, this is your, what you interact with, and we have PFD menu here, and you can use this to go all throughout everything, right? So I thought that was, it's pretty interesting that you can, you have a lot of things you can do with this particular airplane, which I think is really cool. There's a lot of stuff to play with in this airplane. All right, let's set our barometric pressure here, so it's 1010, and then we'll back up and get going. So let's see here. Is this Barometric pressure is over here. And 10. Very good. And let's plug in our altitude of 23,000 feet. Whoa, bitch. Jesus Christ. Moved quickly. Good Lord. All right, 23,000 feet. So that's good. Oh, and if you want to change nav sources on this screen here, there's this nav button here. Just click it. VOR1, an FMS. Format button so you can change, weather and terrain. Traffic. So, there's a fair amount of stuff you can play with in this particular plane. All right, very good. So let's come back here to legs. Let's go ahead and... All right, everything is good here. Let's put our flaps down to 15. And fuel is still good. All right, let's call for us to be back up. Let's call for them to back us up. Back up. Let's put on our seatbelt lights. Safety lights. And I guess I'll call the ATC this way. I guess it's steer to the right. Let's try that. Excuse me. I don't know why they go under here when the front wheel is right here. There we go. Oh yeah, let's go. Oh, we're okay. Park and brake back on. All right, let's close this out. Let's start taxiing. Let's put on the rest of our lights though. So let's put on taxi and logo. And we're in takeoff mode. Very good. And let's put on our pitot heat. Pitot heat. And let's get out of here. This is one of my favorite planes to fly in this game. Hey man, why are you walking through my wing? Very nice of you. Pretty big airport. I remember there was a simulator I used to play years ago called Airline Commander. The whole premise of the simulator was just 90% of it was just takeoffs and landings. You start with little planes like little Cessnas, Bonanzas and things like that, and then you work your way up to 737s and A380s and 777s and things like that. But this airport here was one of the airports that you always used. It seemed to be every scenario had this airport involved in some fashion. Every once in a while you'd have a whole flight to do, but 90% of that game was just takeoff and landings, different scenarios too. You know, engines going out, hydraulics going out, navigation going out, strong winds, downdrafts. It was, icing. It was a really cool. I really enjoyed playing it for a long time, and then it got to the point where I needed to pay to play. That there was no way for me to earn any more in-game currency to finish my career, quote unquote, in the game. And I was almost at the end. I only had I think 3 more planes to open. I think I had the A380, the 777, and I think the A340, I think, or the A350 it might have been. I think it was the 350. And there was no way for me to earn any more money in game to continue, so I kind of gave up on it. I didn't want to spend the money. I sank all that time and energy into the game. I just didn't, kind of felt cheated in a way. Like, it would have been different if it was made known up front, within the first few planes, if they would have kind of got me used to paying it. But I just, after sinking, all the hours I did into it, I just didn't feel like. Plus, at that point, I started getting into X-Plane and Aerofly. I was like, got these other simulators where I can do whole flights now. I don't have to just do landings and takeoffs. All right, we got to get this heart that's on ice. We got to get it to East London in a timely manner. The person that's waiting for it can continue to live their life. And I think Giga Chad will let the ATC know when we get close to the runway that we're going to be taking off, so we can get our takeoff clearance. See if Giga Chad helps out or not. Park and break off. Give us some petrol. And let's line up and let's get rolling, baby. Takeoff thrusters. Oh shit. There we go. Alright, wheels up. Put our flaps up. Start making our turn. go into climb thruster mode. As you can see, it says climb here. Thank God that they changed the way you interact with the ATC, because for years you'd have to interact yourself while you were flying. So difficult, unless you were using a mouse, to be able to interact with the ATC while you're flying. But now they changed it, so now you can have your GigaChad co-pilot interact for you. Let's continue to line up our, once we get our course lined up, then we'll go ahead and engage the autopilot. We can hang outside and look at all the pretty stuff. We're close to lining up. We should be in standard pressure now. That changed it or not, I'll check it out in a minute. All right, LNAV is flashing, that's good, so let's go into LNAV mode and flight level control. All right, and it says standard now, which is good, so QNH doesn't really matter, my man, because we're over 7,000 feet. But thank you for telling us. Yeah, we gotta turn off the our landing lights, other lights, and let's go ahead and let's go to flight plan. But yeah, I forgot to show you guys this while we were on the ground. So under display menu on this side here, you have your takeoff reference page. We have our flight plan progress. It gives us our ETA for each waypoint, top of descent, fuel and all that. As our nav status. Position report, like longitude, latitude coordinates, ETA, miles, fuel, our next, waypoint. And then that's it for this. The other ones are kind of grayed out. I do like this page here, because it gives us our distance between the waypoints, the ETA between each waypoint. I think that's pretty cool. And we can zoom out a little bit. So range is the enter button here. 25 miles. Now it does both sides, by the way, which is fine with me. I can always use the other side, if I want to get in closer. We'll stay in this climb mode here, and then once we get to our cruising altitude, we'll pull the thrusters back a little bit and go into cruise mode, and we'll just make sure that we stay within a certain speed. We don't want to overspeed. A little surprised though about the altitude we're cruising at today. I would have thought we would have been up around 40,000 feet, but I'm pretty sure that the highway that we're on in the sky, the airway. I'm pretty sure that's after 24,000 feet, I think. I pull it up on Navigate, but it's really difficult to pull that information up for me right now because the flight plan, is over top of the airway, so I don't think it'll pull up anymore. Usually it won't pull up at that point because I have something over top of the line now covering it. So we are all set. Initially, it had us at 35,000 feet, but then when we enter the airway, it has us down to 23,000 feet, and that's where we'll stay for the bulk of our flight until we start descending. But that's okay. It gets us a little bit of a closer view to the ground, which I like. I've never flown over this part of the world before. I've flown over South Africa before. When I did that simulator where we just did the landings and the takeoffs, you start like 10 miles, 5 miles from the airport, and then when you take off, you just take off, and then once you get to a certain altitude, that's the end of the simulation. So never really saw any of this. Plus, it wasn't real world, scenery anyways. All right, let's go into thrusters back and go into cruise mode. See, now it says CRU for cruise. May have to pull the thrusters back a little bit more as we continue to fly. It all depends on our speed. According to SimBrief, we should be at 0.7 Mach, Mach 0.7. So we're a little bit away from that, so we'll just continue. We're certainly going to leave this in cruise mode at this point. There's really no reason to. ITT is okay. Plenty of fuel. Oil's looking good. We have 53 minutes to the top of our descent. We need to be at Ibmam. We need to be at above 4,500 feet. And here's the mileage to it, 409 miles. So I chose RNAV, but we're probably going to wind up doing an ILS landing. The reason I chose this particular approach was because Ibmam connected directly to the route that I was looking at. So I chose that, and I'm like, well, I'll just plug that in, but I'm probably going to do an ILS landing. All right, so we are at Mach 0.655, so we can go up to about 300, looks like. I was playing the hell out of Subnautica earlier. Ugh. That game is so fun on this next-gen console. I love me some Subnautica. Did anybody see that dude from Nevada that jumped over the judge's dais? Yo, that shit was wild as hell. If you haven't seen it, it's all over YouTube and all over the news right now. But yeah, this guy, he's a multiple offender, just armed robberies, batteries, assaults. Just he's been in and out of prison before. Anyway, so he's got a pretty long rap sheet. So the judge yesterday said, "Is there anything you'd like to say on your own behalf?" And he's sitting there giving his judge like 5 to 7 minutes this speech about how he's changed and he's now getting help, and he had mental health issues, which is why he was so aggressive in the past, and now he started a new job. He's on medication now. He's doing much better. He's learned how to control his his anger and all that. So, then his attorney speaks and says, it'd be really nice if we could get probation. Anyways, the attorney was doing his job. So at the end of the attorney's speech, the judge is like, well, looking at his rap sheet, I think it's time he gets a taste of something else. And with that, you hear, well, fuck you right, bitch. Something like that. Like the fuck you are, bitch. And with that, he runs. Full speed, leaps. It's got to be 6, 7 feet in the air. I mean, it's got to be about, I would think, maybe 5 feet. Because, usually when the judge has the attorneys come up, how, they're kind of, looking up, so. Anyway, he runs, he jumps over and tackles her. Starts beating on her. And the law court, helps pull him off and starts beating on him. One of the sheriffs got, hurt, pretty good. The judge was, knocked around pretty good. I don't know her status, but, she did get up afterwards, and she seemed coherent and all that. So I don't think she has a concussion, just based on what I saw. But yeah, that shit was crazy. Couldn't believe it. I've never seen anybody jump over the dais to get to the judge, and just finished giving that speech about how I've learned the error of my ways. I'm a different person now. Where you at, man? That's why you jumped over. That's why you jumped over the fucking dais to get to the judge. I thought that was funny. Excited to hear this Supreme Court case that's coming up, hopefully, with Trump. I don't know why everybody hates Trump. I never really I'm not like a Trump fan, but I mean, he was a good president. I mean, things were a lot better when he was president than who they got in there now, that's for sure. I was making more money. Everything was costing a lot less. Bad shit wasn't happening around the world. I mean, but, yeah. Hopefully, the Supreme Court takes the case. Let's see what mock we are now. Mock. Because the the reason why they like Maine and Colorado, a couple of states, they're saying that they're blocking Trump from being on the ballot for 2024. The reason why they're saying that is because he participated in an insurrection. Well, he's never been found guilty of anything. I understand that the Constitution states that if somebody takes part in an insurrection, they can never hold office. But it's never been proven that he took place in an insurrection. If anything, his tweets were saying the opposite: be peaceful, go home, don't do any violence. So yeah, it's just crazy that the swamp is so scared of him exposing all the bad shit they do, that they're willing to do anything to keep him out of office. Anything. It's crazy, man. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. Like I said, I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a huge fan of him. I don't really care who's president as long as they do a good job. In my opinion, the person that's in that office now is the worst president that's ever held office. Not only do I don't think he won, I still don't think he won the contest in 2020, and he's the worst. It's just bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. I don't usually like to talk politics while I'm doing this, but just sad. That state of affairs, what's going on around the world right now in a lot of places. This land is really cool looking. We'll do some more flights over Africa, I think. It's such a huge continent. There's the ocean over there. I don't know if we're that close to the ocean or not. Are we? Maybe we might be able to see the ocean from here. We're running pretty close to the ocean. All right, let's sync up our heading. I am gonna change our landing. I'm not going to change it in our flight management system, but I am going to program the info in. We don't need the ATC anymore, actually. We can turn that shit off. Turn that off because that's going to be annoying for the rest of the flight. Let's pause this real quick. Let's go to assistance. Let's turn you off and you off. And ATC off. Let's save that. So much better. All right. Let's go to tune, and let's tune the LS frequency. It's 110.9. For nav 1, leave nav 2 in auto. I don't think you need to do both in this airplane. Some airplanes you need to have both nav 1 and nav 2 programmed for the ILS, but I don't think it's necessary in this airplane. We'll leave that as automatic. And let's go back to legs. Now, I want to program the course. So what we're going to do is, we're going to sync heading mode again, just to make sure we're okay. Let's click heading. Let's click nav. And our course, our final approach course is 109. So change that. Very good. So that's all done. We got 109. We have 110.9. That's all good. Now let's go back to nav, and we can go back to nav over here, and now we're all good again. Now we should actually plug in our decision height as well. So what we're going to do is, I can use the mouse for this. Let me try. Go to this. Sometimes interacting with these knobs is a little difficult with the mouse. At least the way it's set up for me. I've seen it before on the simulator where like a little kind of arrow shows up, but none of that kind of stuff shows up for me. I don't. Maybe because I don't have a keyboard. Maybe. All right. So let's click PFD menu, and we're going to go down to refs. Up to refs. Yeah, it's not working for me. All right, I got to use the controller. All right, so let's push enter. And let's go down to, I guess we can do V approach, V ref. Minimums are 200. Yep, the destination altitude is okay. All right, very good. So that's all good. So if you don't do anything, it goes back to how it is. Source. That's one. Yeah, that's okay. This menu. Now it's localizer 1 for the preset. Right, very good. Wanted to get that changed because it was on VOR2 for some reason. There's the ocean right there. I thought we were pretty close to it. I guess we can leave it on terrain. There's no real weather happening, so let's leave it on that, I guess. We shouldn't have too much longer until we descend. Let's see here. About 34 minutes. We're ready to pull up on at Gax. Here. Very good. So we have about a half an hour. I'm not going to speed up the flight for that. I'm just going to let it run. I don't think I'm going to do any more flights after this tonight, so I'm not like in a huge rush. Plus, I like this airplane. And I like looking at South Africa. I've never really looked at this before. But our transplant heart will get to the hospital in time. The TCS ambulance is on the scene. Total Control Simulator. What does TCS stand for? Transplant cadavers. Scrotum. Sciatic nerve. Anyways. So our speed. Mach 6 point. Alright, yeah, we're almost at the correct speed. Go to, yeah, we should be at Mach 0.7, so we're pretty close. Too close. We use VNAV to descend tonight, and then we might do the RNAV landing, we might do the ILS, we'll see what's what. I don't believe this airplane is particularly good for programming an RNAV landing, just because you can't. I'm not familiar with anything in this airplane where you can adjust the requirements, so. Most of the time, when it's cruising like this, there's a lot of times where I almost fall asleep. Not so much because I'm tired, but like this kind of noise puts me to sleep. This kind of like jet engine noise. I can't sleep on a real airplane at all. I've tried. I cannot do it. Just for some reason, I need to stay awake because I always feel like if for some reason I'm awake and something bad happens, I don't know. It's just something in my brain just will not allow me to get comfortable to sleep on a plane. I've tried so many times. Here, in the safety of my own home, my eyes get very heavy during the cruising part of the airplane flight, unless it's a flight like we did yesterday, where we actively have to be doing stuff inside the airplane. It's kind of flights where you just click it on autopilot and let it go. I mean, my eyes get very heavy. Yeah, I was looking at doing a flight to Madagascar tonight, but I didn't really like any of the routes, and I think I'd rather fly a bigger airplane to it because I'd like to fly from a farther destination. I didn't want to fly like just across the water, and I didn't really like any of the flights from one side of Madagascar to the other. I do want to do a flight there. There's a big airport in Central Africa, but kind of northeastern Central Africa. I forget the name of it, but I know it's there because it's one of the airports in the list every time I, scroll up and down the list of airports on the menu. Yeah, so we'll see. I'd like to start doing more stuff than just in America, but I do like that, we have a whole bunch of liveries with Emirates, Delta, Air France, and Azul. So we can do a scenario where we're pretending to be like the CEO of Emirates, and we're flying in CJ4 from a meeting from like Geneva back to Abu Dhabi. You're the CEO of Delta, and you're leaving DC heading home. Just were in front of Congress begging for money, to help keep the company afloat. Like they did like 20 years ago when we had this recession in America, like in 2008, 2009, right in that area. And the car companies like GM, Ford, and Chrysler, they all went down to DC to get in front of Congress to ask for bailouts and help, and help financially. Well, I believe it was Ford. I think it was Ford. Ford drove one of their new electric hybrids down to DC, so they could show Congress what they're working on to try to help with fuel and all that. The other guys, they flew down on their private jets. I remember that. And I remember that like it was yesterday. I was at my age, I don't remember how old I was. Well, 2008, I would have been 30 years old. I think I was 30. Yeah, I would have been 30 years old. Yeah, I remember sitting there at work watching the news. I was like, you motherfuckers. They come down to DC with their hands out. Please help me. The recession is killing us, and all the regulations, and we can't survive. We need your help. Bail us out. Well, didn't you just fly down on your private jet? Yeah. Yes, we did. How come you're not like Ford? Ford drove their new hybrid. A long drive from Detroit. I thought that was fun. We got about 27 minutes. I don't know why this reticle is showing up here for. Maybe that's, if we were descending now, that's the angle we would need to descend to get down to 4,500 feet, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's what it's showing because we have 600 here. 700. I think that's what that's showing. I believe as we get closer to the top of our descent, this number is going to keep on going down, and this reticle is going to go down. So this is showing us that if we were to start our descent right now, since we're starting at 188 miles early, we're going to have to descend at 600 vertical feet per minute to get down to 4,500 feet in 245 miles. Looks like that's what that's showing. Fuel, we're doing good. We still got 1,400 kilograms. Check the rest of our systems out. Why don't we? Upper menu. All right, we're doing good. Passenger oxygen, hydraulics are pretty good. Fuel's good. The fuel flow. Voltage, temperature, all right, everything looks kosher. We got too far, all right, very good. Our heart on ice is doing good. We're pretending that we're taking a heart from Cape Town to East London, transplant heart patient in East London that needs it, so we're flying it over. There was just a really bad car accident in Cape Town. Somebody with the matching vitals died during the accident, so taking his heart, we're gonna put it in somebody else. Flight together real quick, and the TCS ambulance is on the scene, Jack. That's right. We're flying at a very low altitude for this plane. I don't know why. I think it's because of the airway that we're on. I think this airway has a max of 24,000 feet, if I remember correct. That might be why we're flying at 23,000 feet, because what the flight plan says. Flight plan has us going up to 35,000 feet, and then by the time we get to our first waypoint, we need to be at 23,000 feet. So I just took off and went right to 23,000. I didn't go up. There's no sense. If the first waypoint we need to be at 23,000 feet, I didn't see a reason to climb and then have to descend right away. So plus, by the time we got to the first waypoint, we were pretty much getting to 23,000 feet. So. If they have like mountain lions and kind of shit down here, or if it's just really in the center of Africa. Like, you know, you have a home over here. You're like looking out on your patio one morning, you see a lion, taking a piss on your lawn to mark his territory. I guess it could happen. You get cats all the time out front of our house here that, there's one cat that likes to curl up in the flower pot. Just fucking chill there for a while, and just gets up and goes about his business. We get foxes in my neighborhood. We get foxes, deer, rabbits, some cats. There's some outdoor cats that run around periodically, but we do get a fair amount of foxes, deer, and rabbits. A few squirrels. Foxes are cool looking in person. I always thought them to be like bigger and kind of like more muscular, but man, they're really like flimsy looking. Like if you grabbed it and just kind of shook it, like it would just kind of like flop around like a rubber band. Doesn't look like there's much to them. I always, for some reason, thought foxes were like kind of beefy. Maybe they are, certain ones are, maybe, I guess, but the ones that we have around here are pretty scrawny looking. And when we get to, I guess, about 10 minutes out, we'll plug in our information for our descent. I guess what we can do in the meantime is we can set up our approach information, so let's do that at least. Let's come down here. Go to performance, approach. Okay, let's see here. So according to Navigraph, wind speed there right now it's 50 degrees and 7 knots. 50/7. The temperature is 15 degrees right now. It's nighttime there right now. And the QNH is 1017. And the slope of that particular runway is, according to Navigraph, it is negative 0.8. So we have negative sign, 0.8. Now we have down 0.8. Next page. Automatic, yes. EREFs, let's send those. The FMS. That's been completed. Now they'll show up on our primary flight display. And landing weight, max landing weight. That all looks good. Now we can go back to legs. And on this screen here, go on display menu here, and this menu shows up here. So right now we're in flight plan progress, so it has like all our waypoints and fuel and distance and time in between the waypoints, but we have this takeoff and approach reference page. So this is the one we used for takeoff, and there is here's the next page. Be on this page here. Oh yeah, that's right. We have to go to we have to click on this button here and go to next, and there's our approach reference. So all that looks good. So let's go back to our previous page. Let's display. Data. Let's go. Very good. All right. Very good. Not 100% sure the combo of those buttons to get to these pages sometimes. That's why you saw me clicking through them. I know what those buttons kind of do, but I forget the sequence sometimes to get back and forth between those pages. I think if I flew this airplane more, I'd probably have it down better, but I eventually got to what I needed to get to. It's just a few extra clicks. How tall those mountains are. Let me see what waypoint we're by. By it kit. Let me look on this map here on Navigraph and see Go to the FR map. Has anything about those mountains? They're like 3,000 feet in the air. It looks taller than three or 4,000 feet. A long ass mountain range, dude. I didn't realize that South Africa had so many mountains, man. They got like mountain ranges like the whole length of South Africa. That's crazy. No clue. I knew they had some, but I didn't know they had multiple ranges that kind of go the whole length of South Africa. Some dinner after this. We had spaghetti with spicy arrabbiata sauce and some meatballs, and then I bought these so we usually have garlic bread with the spaghetti I make, but I found this particular type of garlic bread today. It's like one of those sticks you get from the Olive Garden, right? Like the long stick with the garlic powder in it, but it also has mozzarella cheese in the middle of it, so it's like a huge cheese stick. That's why most Americans are fat. It's because of shit like that. So my kids there was 5 in the package, so I told my kids they could each have 2, and I'll just eat the 1. But I certainly don't need more than 1, not with what I'm rocking. Some people have a 6-pack. I say I have a case. I got a case protecting my 6-pack. I don't want my 6-pack getting hurt, so that's why I keep the extra fluff on. Wasn't always fluffy. Wasn't always fat. It kind of happened, I guess after I got full custody of my kids and I wasn't able to really get to the gym anymore. I was a really muscle bound. Like I was a big meathead for a while. In my mid 30s. My arms were like 18 inches around. You know, I could bench over 300. And I'm kind of short. I'm only like 5'6". But yeah, I went to the gym 3-4 times a week, usually before work. You know, I'd get to the gym at like 6 in the morning and work out until about 8:15, take a shower, get dressed for work, and then the dealership I was working for at the time was like 3 minutes away. It was like 2 miles away from the gym. So then I got full custody of my kids, and at that point I couldn't get to the gym anymore the way I used to, because I had to take care of them every morning and every evening. And then COVID hit, and I stopped working out of the house and started working from home. And next thing you know, you're packing on the weight. And here we are. We got about 13. We got about 90 miles left until our descent. So plug in the 4,500 feet soon. Know about some of these speeds though, because Alidi is like, it's really close to the airport. Let me see here. Oh, you know what? It's not automatic throttle when it goes up, so I'm not worried. Not auto throttle on this plane, anyways. The only time it's auto throttle on this airplane is when you're using flight level change. Outside of that, we have to control the speed ourselves, because 220 is way fast for that part. I mean, at that point, we're only like 10 miles from the airport. Like, that's kind of fast. At least in my opinion. I might be wrong, but I think 220 knots is pretty fast for 10 miles out for any airplane. I don't know if many airplanes ever slow down from 220 down to, like this plane is 100. We need to get to like 109, I think. We need to drop 110 knots in 10 miles while we're descending. Yeah, I don't know about that. completely forgot had all these liveries for this plane. Glad it hasn't messed anything up. Knock on some wood. A lot of times these third-party liveries, they can create some issues with your airplane. But just some buttons not working properly, screen's not working. But this one's doing pretty good. And it's funny, when I first started playing the simulator, I didn't like it at all. At all. Not one bit. I first tried it on Xbox like a year ago. Maybe a little more than a year ago. I bought a pre-owned Xbox One, and I was playing it off the cloud. And the Xbox One wasn't the issue. It was running fine on the Xbox One. I just was so used to Aerofly and so used to X-Plane that when I got into this, I didn't like it at all. So I gave it a few days, and I wound up taking the Xbox One back and getting my money back. 3 months later, 4 months later, it's close to springtime. I looked at the Xbox Game Pass, and I saw all these games that I wanted to play, so then found out I could play it on my tablet or on the iPad as well. So I started playing some of the games that I wanted to play. I got the subscription to Xbox. And I was like, oh, they got the flight simulator on here. Let me give it a try. And I started playing it on the iPad, and I was hooked. I don't know why I didn't like it at first. I can't explain it. I don't know. Just something about it at first I just didn't like. But that second time around when I tried it, months later, I was like hooked instantly. All right, let's program in 500 feet. And we're already in V mode, so we should descend automatically. It says path, and we already have the V next to the altitude, so we shouldn't have to do anything. We should start descending on our own in about 60 miles, so keep an eye out. So I've been playing a lot of Subnautica, and then I've been playing Tricky Doors on the Xbox also. That's a fun game. I like Tricky Doors. One of those games, usually it's on your tablet or on your phone. It's really a mobile game. But the 5VM, like Bravo November, and 5 is spelled out. That developer has a lot of these type of games where it's like you point and you just click on different parts of the screen, and it opens up to another, something else for you to do. So you have a task you have to do. You have to find certain components, and then there's usually a puzzle involved. And the puzzles are great, but it's always been mobile. For some reason, Xbox has like 5 of them available. I never played through Tricky Doors before. I'm on the second to last level right now, and that's been a really fun game. Really makes you think. Some of those puzzles are pretty difficult. There's one I remember that has like these faces, and the faces, you have like a gold, a silver, like a gray one, and then like a brown one, I think it is. And each face, so you have five columns, and each one of those faces has a different characters. One's like smiling, one's like frowning, one's like yelling, and the other one's like surprised. Well, you have 5 of those, and you have 4 columns, 5 rows, and you have to put them in a certain way so no color, so colors don't touch. same colors don't touch, and you can't have the same. I'm sorry, you can't have the same color in any row or column, and you can't have the same facial expression as well. So I mean, that one always stumps me. I wind up getting it eventually, but it takes a while sometimes. All right, we should be beginning our descent here momentarily. They got perfect circles in Africa too. Look at that. Not just an American thing. They got them over here too. Look the hell is with perfect circles. It's got to be an alien thing. It's got to be something to do with aliens. Got to be. Every continent has those perfect circles. I've never seen one of those in real life. It's got, it's either a satellite glitch where the satellite images are wrong, or, it's got to be like alien, like when an alien ship lands, like, somehow something, the thruster makes a perfect circle, or the landing gear when it comes down and lands, like, I don't know, maybe they make perfect circles, I don't know. Pretty cool looking here, man. Look at that. It's like pieces of pie. Crazy. So I would think within the next, probably by the time we get to about 4 miles, I would think the vertical deviator will probably start showing up. So we got top of descent showing on our map here. We'll scroll in the map, then slow down and get a little closer. We'll zoom the map in, but for right now, if we're moving pretty good at 25 miles, 50 miles for the map. If we zoom it in, then we'll be kind of going pretty fast through here. I think we got to get down to about 2,000 feet here. I think that's going to be our descent angle. I think they're going to have us descend at like 2.5 or 3. Which is pretty standard for airplanes, I would think, especially airplanes with these kind of engines. It's a propeller plane, I believe it's like 1.5 is the gradient that it goes down. 1,200 feet per minute, maybe 1,500 depending on the propeller plane, but these planes it's usually 2,000 to 23,000 feet, pretty much. The airstrip. At 1,000 kilograms of fuel left. Plenty of fuel. When SimBrief, so SimBrief usually defaults put in an extra run, to put in an alternate airport. So this fuel here that we have here has that calculated into it. You can turn that off in SimBrief if you don't want to have an alternate airport. Then you'll just have enough fuel to get to destination. However, if something goes wrong and you need to do a go around, something like that, then you may not have enough fuel at that point to do that. You can see here that we have this magenta 4500. That's the 4500 from our flight plan. And there's our vertical deviator. So once this star gets up, we're going to be beginning our descent.
Yeah, we could plug in any altitude below 4,500, and our airplane's going to stop at 4,500 feet for the waypoint that we're going to. Now, if we pass, so this is over 4,500 is what it says on our flight plan. So if we get past the waypoint that corresponds with this, then whatever the next waypoint's altitude target is will show up here automatically. So let's start slowing down. And you can see VPath just kicked on, and we just started our descent. Very good. Bring up our approach page here. Actually, let me bring up the METAR information for King Falo Airport. Wow, last time it was updated was 8 hours, 5 minutes ago. Jesus. We might not have the correct info, but that's all right. Close enough. Actually pull up the METAR information on the map here. Maybe there's another airport that's close by that has a different reading. Let's go weather. One avograph, let's go. There we go. Missile pressure, now we want METAR information. Closest reading is far away. Good lord. And the closest one that's far away, and that's Port Elizabeth. That's far away. Jesus. Well, I guess we'll just run with what we have. Turn weather off. I'm half tempted to turn the ATC back on just to get, let me do that. Because at least turn it back on, we'll have the parametric pressure that the flight simulator thinks it is. So at least we should be able to match that up for our approach, because I don't want to have the wrong, I don't want to be too far off with the barometric pressure when we do our landing, because I don't want it to say we're at 0 for our altitude and we still have like hundreds of feet left, or the reverse. I don't want it to say that that we're at 400 feet and we're really at 0. So all right, let's turn the ATC back on. No big deal now. We don't need to know what the pressure is now, but very soon we're going to need to know what it is. Let's zoom in a little bit now that we getting closer. Slowing down a bit. Since we need to get down to about 220 knots. We only got 29 miles left. Let's continue to move our thrusters down. Let's go into heading mode. Let's go heading here. Switch nav here. And let's switch format. Okay, very good. Wait for the localizer to capture. Oh, we do have speed brakes. And I forgot that we had them. ILS here, the ILS chart up. Asterisk next to it. Recall seeing that before, an asterisk next to. Very strange. Actually need to get down to 2,500 feet. Let's plug that in. We'll see if we capture the localizer. If we can't, we'll do the VNAV descent, but the RNAV descent. But see, we should be able to capture it. I would think it would show up by now, though. That's the thing. We're supposedly only 16 miles out of the airport. It's very uncommon that this is not registering yet. I actually do a go around. It looks like it had us descend kind of late, actually, the VNAV system. I wonder if the frequency was different in the previous air rack information. Oh, there we go. Now that's very strange. Why is it saying that we have 27 miles there, but 10 miles here? Maybe that's 10 miles until we get... Oh, that's 10 miles until our next waypoint. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. Well, we can click on nav at least. We can capture the localizer. And then once we see the glide scope show up, then we can click on approach. We'll keep it around here, around 200 knots. Works for me. Yeah, I don't think Microsoft has the new air rack information. The air rack information is like the all the charts information, all the frequencies, and approach information, and departures, and all that. I don't think they've updated. Well, they haven't had an update yet, and there's a new air rack published on December 28th. So. What's our QNH though? Here we go, 2995. So we need to change that. Shit, what's 2995? Hang on, I'll take care of that in a second. Let's click approach. Glide scope mode. 2995 is probably like 1014, I would think. We're just putting in 1014. Continue to slow down. Let's put some speed brakes in the equation here. You know, I think we'll be okay without the speed brakes. And altitude has been captured. Put first set of flaps down. See, it says flaps 15 right here. And our approach is 105. Glide path should be capturing here in a minute. Let's put on our landing lights. And I guess we'll put on our logo light. Alright, glide scope is now captured, so we are pretty much good, and we just need to monitor our speed and our flaps, really. Flaps 35 is 160. We're flying a Frozen Heart in our TCS ambulance from Cape Town to East London. Here's a heart transplant patient over here that needs a new heart. So, donor just became available this morning in Cape Town. Pretty bad accident, and matches directly with the guy that needs this, so. We're about 10 miles out. We get down to about 110 KIAS for knots indicated airspeed.
gear down. Flaps full. Below 160. It is really windy today. Look at that. That 20 knot wind. Good Lord. Wonder we're blowing around. I like doing these ILS landings. That way you can just sit outside the airplane and just watch. Sitting there looking in the bottom of my cup. Didn't realize we were going so fast. The way this plane's bouncing around is making me kind of nervous. I never noticed that before. I wonder if they have that in real life. I never knew there was a wire connecting the tail and the fuselage like that. I never noticed that before. Flown this plane tons of times. I've never once noticed that. Try to fly this thing on our own on the way for the rest of the way. It'd be fun. We're about 1,000 feet. Oh, I can't disengage the autopilot here. Oh, that's okay.
Autopilot.
Control the plane. All those little houses right there by the airport. Wow. That's got to be cool. I mean, it's got to be really noisy, but that's got to be cool as shit looking out your window and just looking at all these airplanes landing. Man, I would love that. I would deal with the noise. That would be cool as shit. I'll take that. I just got some sort of trophy from Xbox. All right, we are here in East London, in Falo Airport. Touchdown. Nice. Soft. I haven't said it in a while. That was a soft, buttery touchdown. Yes, sir. Yeah. Soft and buttery. The rollout afterwards wasn't so good. But the touchdown itself was soft and buttery. Yes, sir. All right, that's about it. I got to eat some dinner, clean up dinner. I don't know if I'll be back tonight. It's getting, what time is it over here where I live? Oh, yeah, 9:30. Yeah, I have training tomorrow for a new job. But I will be back. Tomorrow's Friday. I'll be doing 2 flights for sure. One with a big jet, one with a little jet. And you guys have anything you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. I hope you like this video. In the very beginning of this video, if you catch it on my channel, I think you have to go under live to see it. But when this is done, like the first 20 minutes of the video is me going over how I use Navigraph and SimBrief and all that kind of. I had somebody message me in the comments asking what do I do kind of in the beginning and what website. So if you're interested in that, that's like the first 20 minutes of this video. So hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe. Please click the thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. It helps me. Might not mean a lot to you, but it means the world to me, and it only takes a fraction of your day to do it. Fraction of a second, and then it'll be finished. Finished forever. That's about it. I will see y'all again over the beautiful skies of Mother Earth.